welcome to episode 7 of Vlogmas. We are already halfway through and I'm really proud of myself that I haven't missed a video yet. I've been late with a couple of them. This month has been quite stressful for me, so I'm really happy that I even managed to make every single video so far, and let's hope the rest of the month will go just as well. Maybe without being late, but I think that's fine. I have to give myself the credit and the space to be late because I do have a full-time job and I have to run a household together with my boyfriend, but still, and we are still renovating this house, so it's a lot. I feel like I'm justifying myself. I don't have to justify myself. I'm doing this for fun, for myself and for you, and I hope you enjoy watching the videos. And I have a little something now. See what just arrived in the post today. It's my Knitting for Olive yarn that I ordered. It's their new no waste wool base. And I ordered this to make the Santa Baby sweater by, was it Sanders Garn? Or Filcolana. I'm not sure anymore. I'm going to put it on the screen. It's the sweater you've been seeing, or at least I have been seeing on Instagram all of the time, that has like the rows of Christmas trees in color work, and people embroider sparkly beads on them to look like ornaments. And I've seen it last year and I already wanted it then, and I've been seeing it again. I was thinking I'm gonna make it next year because Christmas is already close and I'm not going to be able to wear it this year. But then I thought, let's be prepared and just make it beforehand. I really want to do this right now, so why not? Plus, I wanted to try the new yarn base Knitting for Olive just came out with. Their no waste wool. I think it's made from 50% recycled wool. Yeah, it says here 50% recycled wool and 50% merino. It's not quite as soft as their merino. It has a little bit of a tooth to it, but it's still very soft. I wouldn't call it anywhere near rustic. And it has a more heathered look, so it isn't as uniformly colored. It has a slight heather to it. Maybe you can see it. 1 second. Yeah. And this is the colorway powder. There you go. No? Won't focus today. Just take my word for it. This is the colorway powder, and I ordered 8 balls of that, and I'm going to be holding it double. I already explained this. The pattern calls for about sport weight yarn had together with a mohair, and I thought that if I hold 2 fingering weight yarns together, that should just get me to gauge, because I know that most patterns say that fingering and mohair held together is a decay, but I'm not quite sure about that. I mean, it's the lace and the fingering, and it's supposed to be then a decay, but a fingering and a fingering is also a decay. And I know there's the fluff, but I really don't think it's the same gauge as a decay. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but yeah, in my experience, it doesn't quite reach a decay. Some more of the powder. I think the other yarn is right at the bottom of the bag. Yeah. I've got 2 other colors. One of them is this dark heathered green. It is called slate green. It's a very dark green. It also has this slightly heathered look. And it's also their no waste wool base. They only came out with about 10 colors right now. So for the red, that goes inside of the neckband. It's actually barely visible, so I'm thinking about maybe adding it in somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know yet. I'll have a look at that and think about it. So in the pattern, it just goes inside the neckband, so you can barely pick it. And for that, I had to order just a normal merino because they don't have a red collar and there are no waist wool base. And I'm fine with this. I mean, I can 99% of the sweater is there, no waist wool base. I also only ordered one ball of this, and I'm just going to take a strand from the inside and one from the outside to hold it double because I don't need much. 2 balls would have been way too much. And this is in the color Way Claret. I'm excited to cast that on. However, I am making myself finish my Christmas knit, or the thing I want to wear on Christmas Day. First, you've seen it before, my Ghost Whisperer top, because I just want to get that out of the way. I want to be finished with one bigger project before I start another bigger project. That's just how I work. My mind wants to focus more on one thing at a time than just a ton of big projects at once. I don't mind having smaller ones like the bralette and the baby sweater at the same time, but my bigger projects, so real garments, I want to finish before I start another one. So this is the Ghost Whisperer top by Park Knit. I have just finished the neckline and knit together the shoulders. Last time I showed this to you, I was down here. I was just about to split for the back and the front. And the next step is to add the I-cord edging around the neckline, and then I'm picking up for the sleeves. I'm not concerned at all that I won't finish this until Christmas because it's just flying off the needles and it's so fluffy. I'm so happy I picked that yarn. I'm still on my first ball of yarn for this. There isn't much left now, but I probably would have gotten away with just getting 2 balls instead of 3. But oh well, now I have them. What I'm however going to do is I'm going to put the remaining yarn of the first ball to the side and start using the second ball for the sleeves, because when working in a single strand of mohair or alpaca, I really dislike weaving in ends. So I don't want to have to weave in ends halfway down the sleeves. I will still use this for the neck binding, the I-cord edging of the neckband. That should be more than enough for that, and I should still have left over. For the sleeves, I'm starting with my second ball because I don't want to weave in the ends. And as I have 2 balls left over right now, I'm not bothering about being careful with my yarn usage. I will have probably a whole ball left at the end and some more. I will have to see if I maybe still have the ticket for this. I got that in a local yarn store only a couple of months ago, and they do take back yarn up to 6 months later when you have some balls that you haven't broken into yet. Yeah, so I'll have to look around in my bags if I still have that. That way I could just bring this back and get my money back, or a voucher or something, and I wouldn't have just a single ball of this left over. And with me buying all of this yarn at the moment and getting all of the yarn in my add-on calendar, I might have to go on a yarn ban next year. My stash has been growing a lot lately and I can't knit as fast as I'm buying. So yeah, I think there's a yarn ban in order. I'll think about it some more and maybe come up with some rules and take you along the way, make a whole thing out of it, so it's still enjoyable and it's more of a project and an experience to knit from my stash, and doesn't feel as much like a punishment for buying too much yarn. This sweater I am wearing right now is by Fable Knitwear. It's the Marilyn sweater and I really love this one. It's such a nice basic sweater. It has some interesting shoulder construction. You get these kind of fake seams here. It's hard to see because of the patterned yarn, but I really like that detail, and it has the slightest puff on the shoulder. Yeah, and I just knit it long enough so it can reach into my pants, because that's how I like to wear my thin turtlenecks. The yarn I used for this, I brought my knitting journal this time so I can look it up, because I knew even if I look at it beforehand, I would forget it. My mind has been, in Luxembourgish we would say, my mind has been like a sift, everything is falling through. Yeah. So the yarn I used is some hand-dyed merino single plied yarn by Keatsgarn, and it's in the color Iceberg Fall. The base is called Merino Solace, but I think they discontinued that base. I bought it in a sale when they were discontinuing it. So obviously they probably don't carry it anymore. I used 2 skeins and I used a technique that I had never used before. I did some helical knitting because I didn't want the color to pool. I wanted it to be evenly distributed throughout the sweater without getting a stripy effect or the color pooling in some spots. And I think that worked out quite well. It obviously does have some stripes, but it isn't, yeah, it doesn't look like tiger stripes or anything. It's just some slight striping that does get muddled in the fabric. And I have some more of these planned. I have another 2 skeins of Keatsgarn Merino Solace yarn that I've got at the same time to make another version of this. I couldn't decide which one to get, so I just got both back then. It's almost been a year since I got the yarn, and the sweater I knit in spring, and when I finished it, it started getting too hot to wear it, so I've only been able to wear it this fall. And the other yarn I have is more of a grayish with some yellow and green speckles and smaller portions in it. And I have another yarn to make this. I wanted to make a 3/4 sleeve version with some Noro yarn. I've never knit with that brand before and I'm excited to try it. It's quite expensive, so I only got 1 ball of it, but that should be enough to make this with 3/4 length sleeves. It's still 200 grams, so technically it's just as much as this one, but it's also the mixture of yarns I got is more is a more summery base. There's some silk in it and some more plant fiber yarns, so that's also why I'm deciding to make it 3/4 length sleeves, so it's maybe something that I can wear in late spring, early summer. You want to get cuddled a little bit? While filming these Vlogmas videos, I have noticed that I keep knitting patterns from like the same 4 designers. So maybe I will also try some new designers next year so I don't keep constantly repeating my designers. So I will let you get to the rest of the video. I will see you later today or in a couple of days for the next video.